Today's cardinal lesson, we're talking about Social Security. And we're talking about Social Security for people that are just starting it, anticipating starting it, or they've been on it for a while. And we're talking about the news stories that have really been out for about a month that always follow the trust fund report. So the Social Security trustees, they normally release this report in May or June because this was the first year of this administration. It took them till late September to get out the report. And what it is just an annual accounting of the trust fund for Social Security. And then, of course, you read in the news that Social Security is going bankrupt. Social Security is not going to be around. It's running out of money. 2033, a year sooner than they thought it was. It's all this inflammatory headlines. And then following that, you have people that are coming into me as clients for financial planning. And the first thing we start with when we're putting together a retirement income plan with anybody, rich, poor, or in between, is the Social Security check. How much is it going to be? When are we going to file? How much taxes are we going to pay on this? And what levers can we pull to make this most beneficial to you? And when we're in the discussion of that, we get several people that are dismissive. Well, is that really going to be there? Or they're going to go so far as to say that won't be there. And I'm always, well, tell me about that. I mean, I'm going to just start looking, and of course they're reading what people treat as common knowledge, the things going to be over with. It's going to stop. We can't count on it. So therefore we need other money. And what I'm going to attempt to explain is there's a little bit of truth in just about everything. Is there's some problems with the Social Security, which I'm going to acknowledge, but just don't believe everything you read. Is the Social Security Trustees report came out a month ago. It's 276 pages long. I read through the whole thing, and I really focused on one page of it, which is the financial accounting year over year of all the money that went out in benefit payments, and then all the expenses that were associated with it, and then the sources of revenue. And I mean, and I'm going to go over those with you quickly today to just show you that a lot of the conclusions that you might have drawn or other people have drawn about the future of the Social Security system are just not based in fact. Okay, so that's an area that we're going to talk about. The other thing is what is more recent news is the 5.9%, almost 6% increase in everybody's Social Security check in 2022. And so that's good news for retirees. I mean, if you've got a check of $2,000 a month, you're getting a $120 a month raise. And it's good news even for future retirees. If you're 63 or 64 or 65, whatever you have projected out there in 5 years from now when you file for it, or 3 years, or whenever you've chosen to file, that's all adjusted up by 6%. And it is showing here that over the last 10 years, those hikes or increases, or COLA is what it's really called, cost of living adjustment, has averaged 1.65%. And this is the largest increase since 1983. In 1983 is when it was 7.4% increase. That's back in the old, really kind of crazy inflation days. And hopefully, and I don't really think we are, where we can look at this year over year over year, it's really driven by the pandemic and the fact that there's shortages and supplies, and it's just driven prices up. Gasoline's up, everything that goes into the consumer price index, that's caused that, and it's a good thing. It won't be a good thing if the Social Security system has to absorb that every year. Then I think some of these doom and gloom predictions could actually come true sooner if we get in an extended period of high inflation. 1 year we can absorb this no problem. Now I want to get back to the trustees report and really show you and counteract some of these myths. I mean, for starters, there is almost $3 trillion in the Social Security Trust Fund. That's $3 trillion. And to just even understand how much a trillion is, I mean, we'd have to take this part of the board if we didn't put it in billions and just make it look like a small number. 3 trillion is a lot of money, and that's how much money is in the trust fund that's there based upon money you've paid in over your working life and your employer paid in for you, and that money is back there backing the whole thing up. They actually don't access any of it year to year to year, and they haven't for quite some time. It's just been building. So it's almost 3 trillion. And, just this is broken down into, this is the retirement people, where you start your benefit at 66 or 67 or wait as long as 70, or you started at 62. This is all the people, and you get paid for the rest of your life. This is the disability income people. These are people that have a disability, they've applied to Social Security, and they've approved them to start receiving a Social Security check because they can't work due to disability. That has its own separate accounting. And then when you reach full retirement age, if you're one of these people that's under this bookkeeping, you actually just get moved over into this. There's no change in your check. So you can really put these two things together to understand the solvency of the Social Security Trust Fund. And there's only a few numbers that you need to look at. We got almost $3 trillion in the bank. In 2020, during the year, the benefit payments were $952 billion to the old fellas and ladies. To the disability people, it was $143 billion. So between the two, it's over $1 trillion of actual money paid out to the Social Security people individually, okay? And then we took in income as a whole society under the Social Security Trust Fund of $856 billion of payroll taxes. And this is how the Social Security system really works, is this $856 billion that we took in paid the $952 billion that we paid out. And you can see there's a shortfall there. But we also earned $73 billion in interest that are in government securities that are in the Social Security Trust Fund. But the interest from that, the $73 billion, is there to pay benefits. And then we tax affluent people that are on Social Security. We actually tax their benefit. And that's a lot of the financial planning that we do with individual clients, is to try to use Roth IRA conversions and a number of other manipulations to really lower or prevent the tax. But when it's all said and done, there was $39 billion in taxes collected on people receiving their Social Security check, and that $39 billion goes right back into the trust fund. So it gave us a total of $968 billion was collected or created, or it was income to pay out $952 billion in benefits. So the net effect is, last year, there was an increase in the trust fund. Okay? It was just a little bit. Now, I'm not trying to deny that there aren't some problems we need to deal with down the road. I'm just trying to back people up a little bit and just show them the facts, show you the facts, to say that this thing isn't just going belly up and there's nothing we can do about it and nobody cares. I mean, I want to knock that out and show you that last year during the pandemic, when this was supposed to be a disaster, and the reason it was supposed to be a disaster is everybody was out of work for a while, so these payroll tax contributions were supposed to be reduced. And as it worked out through all of 2020, that much was collected by Social Security to pay out benefits. The other thing with it is we just had a lot of concern that this whole thing was going to go, like I said, belly up, and it didn't. And we added to the trust fund. Now, The other piece of it is I hear this from people from time to time, and they state it like it's fact, is our government has spent, your Social Security on something other than Social Security. People state that like it's fact, and I'm just telling you, it just ain't true, okay? I mean, it's against the law for them to do that. And you've got these trustees, and if they had actually done that, we wouldn't have almost $3 trillion in there. And just proof that that money's really there is the $73 billion of interest that was collected on that money that's in reserve to pay future obligations. So you heard it here first. This is the stuff that the news correspondents don't really talk about. They just have these inflammatory articles, and I would just say that most of them don't really understand all of this. So sitting down and worrying if you're 65 or 70 years old that Social Security is going to be bankrupt in 2033 is just like sitting down with your insurance company and worrying to a point of being crippled that saying, my insurance company is just going to run out of assets in 2033 and everything's going to go boom. I mean, the reality is, in their predictions, if you just allow everything to happen, the inflation to happen, interest rates as they've predicted and all their assumptions, what they said was true, is that if nothing changes, we don't do anything in the government, all their assumptions prove out to be true, this is going to get whittled away and it's going to be gone in 2033. I'm not doubting that. But what I'm doubting is some of their assumptions may or may not happen. That's number one. And then the second thing is the fact that we're not going to do anything about it. We absolutely are. And we've done something before. Because what I'm going to tell you is I was born in 1958. My full retirement age is 66 and 8 months. My wife was born in 1959. Her full retirement age is 66 and 10 months. Now you're saying that's kind of weird to have a month. There was a phase in that's almost completely done. And where the Social Security full retirement age used to be 65, and it's moving to 67, but it was phased in over 30 or 40 years. And the legislation to make that phase-in happen was back in 1983. I mean, it's just coincidental. That was our biggest increase, and I think this is possibly what woke them up. In 1983, I was 25 years old, just starting on the Social Security deal, and then I was kind of concerned about this because I read about it. I've been in the financial business all along, and they're saying, your full retirement age is no longer 65. By the time you get there, it's going to be 67. Oh, by the way, not really 67. It'll be 66 and 8 months. But what that had the effect of doing is just stretching out or making it longer before people will actually start collecting on benefits. And I'm thinking that this problem can be solved, certainly in part, by just doing that again, not to the people now, not to the people that are my age now or older, and they're not going to do it to that. It's the people that are 25 and 30 now are simply going to have a longer retirement age where they're going to start at 69 or 70. However they work out the math, that could very well fix the whole thing. We also have the lowest interest rates that we've had in years. And so the interest that the trust fund collects on the bonds that back all this up is really at a low. I mean, to earn 73 billion on almost 3 trillion, that's a low interest rate. So if interest rates, and I don't want interest rates to go up, but if they do, and they probably will, then this will increase as well. I mean, there's several variables in here. And I also wanted to point out something is that the government doesn't even let the Social Security people operate rent-free or the payroll. I mean, the Social Security Trust Fund and the system gets charged $3.7 billion a year just to administer the whole thing. So Social Security Trust Fund and the income pays its own way inside of the federal government. So, like I said, too much detail on this. It's pretty boring reading, but I read the whole thing just to get the context of it. And I do this presentation once a year where I just kind of give the statement. And every year in this report, and it just said, if you think this is bad this year, wait till next year, because we're going to dip into the trust fund. We're going the other way next year. And they've said that every year that I've read it. And then I can't wait to get it out. I'm going to just see, that's the first place I go. How much did we dip in? Oh, gee, we didn't dip in anything. We actually added to it. But yet they moved the target date 1 year closer. So enough said of that. What conclusion do I want you to draw from this? Is number one, this is good news that everybody's Social Security check is going to get a lift this year, and older folks can certainly use that. What I want you to get from this is there's a whole accounting system with accountability and rules and laws and regulation. And, you know, they don't fill up 276 pages with nothing. This is written by accountants and it's sound. Now, their predictions, you listen to those too. If we don't do something, folks, here, we are going to run out of money in 2033. But, you know, so what I want you to get, it's not as bad as they say it is. We are going to do something about it. And I just want you to look at your retirement or look at me when you're coming for a financial plan and have some credibility in those Social Security numbers that we're putting in there. I'm Hans Scheil, and I thank you for listening.